Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producers here. Hello, Sam.
Hi.
I like your star shoes.
Thanks.
I love seeing, and Daniel does too.
What?
You'll get what I'm saying.
I
here.
like seeing
Stars.
I like
seeing T's.
I like
Oh,
seeing
be careful what you ask for.
I know.
good people do well, right?
Yes.
Because
I'm not doing well,
What
Tom.
the-
I did not feel well.
That is good.
Go sign up for her Patreon, and you can find out just how not well she's doing.
Help.
Yeah,
it's-
Semantics Media. Go support them.
And especially
They need help.
when you've known a person for a while and
Yes.
you've seen them come up and how hard they worked,
Yes.
but remained
Head down, this guy.
But
Head down.
but remained a good person the whole time, right?
Never was not a good person.
Yeah, never compromised,
Yeah.
never oh, he started good, but
Yeah.
the industry got to him, then he's a complete DM.
And people will pile on.
Yeah.
I've seen some people be mean to this guy.
And it kind of reinforces my theory that successful people are the vast majority are good
Except
people.
for Will Smith.
Well,
We've all determined this year. We've
Well,
all collectively, society has said that we all know you're not a good person, Will Smith. We know it. And we're mad about how successful you are. You should have never been successful. It should have been Carlton should have your level of success. And you should be
I don't
hosting.
trust Carlton.
You should be
Yeah.
hosting America's funniest videos, Will Smith.
Well, also talent involved.
Yeah,
We
there's
have
talent.
a
I feel
lot
like
of
he's got a
talent.
lot of demons, and he's just kind of hiding them,
Yeah.
and
Right.
trying to put on a veneer of just being a
I can
perfect,
see that.
perfect, well-balanced person.
And when you try to do that, you
It-
lose sight of who you really are.
It's gonna come out eventually.
Yeah.
Like, people are gonna be like, "Oh, he's very damaged."
Well, you got to say who's here now.
Adam Murray's here. How you doing, Adam?
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me.
So we've known
Adam Murray from this isn't just Adam. Okay, let's just say a month ago it's Adam Murray's here.
Yeah.
This month it's Adam Murray from Stranger Things
Yeah.
is here.
So let's talk about
From
that, Adam.
Hillbilly Elegy. From
Yeah.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to think the other things you've been pumping out recently.
I've got 3 more TV shows coming out in the next month and a movie in October.
Awesome.
It
So-
might be 4 TV shows.
all right.
So, Adam, let's talk about this. So, obviously, we've known you for years. I mean,
He's
Yeah,
hanging in
yeah.
our bathroom
since
'cause
the old
yeah.
studio.
I
mean,
wrote to him for an autograph. He sent us one. I framed it. It's in our
Oh, yeah,
bathroom.
it's in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I feel like that would when we meet you 10 years ago, something like that.
It's gotta be around
about a
there.
decade ago, and
It was about 10 years ago. It was Second Studio.
Yeah, you guys were still in the house.
Yeah.
yeah,
and
Daniel's house now.
It's still my house, an old house.
but old studio.
Yeah.
And so back then, Adam, you were and still are stand up, and you were working a lot with the improv. And
I would bring your guests here.
Yes.
I was the guy that a lot of the
by the way, that doesn't happen anymore. You know that.
Oh.
Well, not
Wait,
with
wait,
the, not
like
with the improv. It's just the comedians don't do
No.
the interviews in the place that they're.
your job is gone.
performing.
because-
Really?
Yeah, your job has been
not as much.
eliminated.
It's like few and far between.
Because
now.
comedians realize that they can either Zoom or
Not
they
do
can
anything.
just skip
Yeah.
media altogether.
yeah.
just use their own social
Yep,
media.
They post on their own
Yeah.
social media. So.
Yeah, if they're big enough, they're just like Felipe when I tour with. He doesn't do radio or anything
Yeah.
anymore. He's just like I've got enough
Yeah.
fans that they know to come.
We were very lucky that we had Felipe Esparzas, who he's
Yeah.
referencing. We had him in here a couple of times. But I feel like for your job, for what we built out, that's gone. I mean, we were lucky that we
crazy.
made those relationships, and we're lucky that a lot of them are still intact. You know, if we tweet at certain comics and stuff that have been in here, they know who we are. We got Josh Wolf rolling through town. He's another one we've had in here a bunch of times, but they don't really do it anymore.
It's funny because like every time I bring someone, they're like, "Oh, we're doing a podcast," and then they get here, and I would tell them on the way, like, "I promise you, this is going to be one of your favorite stops all day," and afterwards, everyone's like, "That was really amazing."
Well,
I was
you
like,
upsold us a lot, and we appreciate it. No, he did. He
Well,
would be driving us
oh, yeah.
over here, and he'd text me. He'd be like, "Hey, we're ready for you," and you did us right, man.
There were a lot of people that, I mean, because you got to understand, like when people say, "Come do my podcast," they're not expecting this level of production. You know, it's always like someone's basement, and they
Yeah.
got like one of those little things with like they plug 2 mics in, and they're like should we share a mic? We're gonna share a mic.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
we
then
have
the
that.
person's
We
like,
just-
"Am I wasting my time?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who's listening to this?"
Yeah,
Like,
there's just 4 people listening to this. It's this guy's friends, and he just wants a famous person real quick.
Right.
But you know what's funny is that it started with like morning TV and morning radio, and that's all they do. And then the podcast started creeping in, and then you saw the trend 10 years ago. We're like, I'm not going to do a podcast. Then they do it, and they're like, oh, this is better than, and like produce more than the damn TV I did this morning.
Yeah.
But that was the beginning of the end of all this
Yeah.
because that
That was
turned
just a stepping stone for Zoom.
well, then it turned into the comedians only wanted to do podcasts because that's what moved the needle. Then it turned into I'm just going to promote this on my social media.
Well, also
And
a
then-
lot of them, you're
then I'm
forgetting
never
one
doing it
more
again.
part. The social media is great, but then a lot of comedians are like, what if I just start my own podcast and then the
Right.
people come to me and then I go, okay, how many listeners do I have in Dubuque? Oh, all right,
Yeah.
great.
5,000. They all come to
Yeah.
my show.
Hey
Yeah,
guys,
yeah,
we
yeah.
got a 400 seater
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Dubuque. I only need, I don't know, 4% of you to show up and pack the place.
Yeah, that's
come
the-
on out, and it works.
That's pretty much the way everything's changed
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Everyone's got their own social media presence.
You have your own media.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like, why go on other people's media? It sucks.
Yeah.
Like they ask me the same question. Like,
Right.
I blame media because you're so bad at your job that no comedian even wants to do it for fun because they're like, this is garbage. You didn't even know who I am,
Right.
and it's all the same garbage questions, and you just want me to start doing my bit to entertain your audience. Like, I think Segura told a story the other day that he how he doesn't do radio anymore or any of that, and he said he was on a morning radio show one time, and he sat down. The guy didn't say anything, and then he's like. Before they started coming back from break, they're like, oh yeah, when you come back from break, just I won't even say anything, just go do your thing. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, just just take over, do your bits, whatever.
Yeah, I don't care.
Segura's like, I'm not doing that. He's like, I'm just gonna sit here, and then the guy wanted him to just start.
Yeah.
And like dance,
Yeah, yeah.
like
like, you
Yeah.
host this.
Monkey, you do the thing you do.
yeah, like
with
you
the
have,
bananas.
like
hate
comedy
that.
just
And go.
yeah. Like I'm just gonna sit here. I get paid for this time, but I want you to entertain my audience.
Well,
Like,
if
what
it's
the hell are you
live-
talking about?
If it's live, I don't blame
So,
him.
Just
sit
treating
there.
him like a wind-up toy. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you do the thing.
So, Adam, let's talk about how that you transitioned from doing stand up into acting, and how all these breaks that you have now and Stranger Things came about.
I mean, I saw a talk on Vimeo by the late Ralphie May where he talked about the business of comedy, and one of the things he stressed was to take acting classes because he said every comic from that's famous, you know them from TV. They all at some point do something other than stand up. There's very few comics that are famous for just stand up. They all do some sort of acting. So he said you have to take acting classes and be ready, because when someone offers you a series, if you don't know how to act, it's too late.
Yeah, you can't just learn in enough time to
Yeah.
you need the chops going into it.
He said he's had friends that did the Tonight Show back when it was huge, and then they got offered a series and it went to they did the pilot and they were like, oh, this guy can't act, and then it's over.
Gotcha.
And there's no second chance. It's kind of like if you get a chance to host the Tonight Show and you suck, they're like, all right, done. And then your career is just over.
Gotcha.
So it's like there was a lot of that where it was just like, okay. I mean, I had an interest in acting before. I almost got cast in. Do you know the movie Kids?
Yeah.
So one of the movies he made was called Bully.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I got cast in Bully right before I was supposed to go to college, and I turned it down because it was going to interfere with going to college. The guy who got the part that they cast me in was the gay best friend in Mean Girls. That was his
Oh.
first role.
Really?
Man,
Was
you
the
could have
movie.
been the gay best friend in the world.
I got to meet the whole cast and everything.
That's really
I-
cool.
It's weird that you turned it down to go to college.
Yeah,
College.
I mean, had I known now,
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
yeah.
but that's what you do, right? You turn down things because you think
Yeah,
college
but you can
is.
go to college later. You're not going to get that opportunity to be in a movie. And
You're not wrong, but I
Yeah.
guess maybe you were thinking, this is me. My look isn't going to change as
Well,
long as I don't die.
It could have been a thing also also where like you couldn't drop your classes, you've already paid for it, you know.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it
It's
was
also
like,
scary to do that too.
Yeah.
That's the easy one is right up front. It's just that's a scary thing to do.
well, I didn't know if like if I put it off for a semester, would I still be able to go? Like there are all these unknowns, and it was just like, well, this is just a movie, and it wasn't like projected to be a big hit, or I mean, it's now like they've got like a cult following on that movie,
Yeah.
but.
I mean, also remember
Not a movie guy.
when kids came out. Like I was in high school, or
I only know that there's a lot of stuff
Middle
in the
school?
like my
Eminem
wife.
talked about
My
it.
wife owns it, and she's like, "Oh, it's one of my favorite movies." And then she described,
That's her favorite movie.
And then, well, no, that and her favorite.
13.
She owns that. No, her favorite movie. This is gonna make you guys think I married a crazy person.
Waterworld.
No, that is up there. Waterworld. Kids is up there. She owns both of
That's
those on
weird.
Blu-ray, and then she owns what's the one with Patrick Bateman?
American Psycho.
The American Psycho.
American Psycho is her favorite
That's a
movie.
great
Oh,
movie.
She just loves a little bit of dystopia.
Yeah,
in her movies.
and that's what I bring. I am a little bit of dystopia.
By the way, when I watched that in middle school, I was like, well, when I go to high school, there's going to be, we're going to be dodging AIDS everywhere we go.
Yeah.
You know, like I thought
Yeah,
there would
yeah.
be way more
Dodging
AIDS.
AIDS.
No, seriously, like I was like, oh
We
my
played
God,
it
everybody's
in
got
gym class.
AIDS.
You played dodge AIDS. It's horrible.
So you went to acting class, and
Yeah, I started booking stuff like commercials and so forth. And the first thing that happened that started to be like a big break for me was I was being looked at to be the lead in a Rob Schneider TV show they filmed here.
really,
They filmed Real Rob here.
Yeah.
and
I knew
they-
a lot of people that worked on that show.
Yeah,
Because Full Sail was all the Full Sail
Yeah,
kids
it
were
was-
working on it.
It was all they filmed a lot of it at Full Sail. They brought me in originally to audition for the part of a marijuana co-op manager.
All
I was
right.
like, I could pull that off.
I feel like
100%
that's
your
made
alley.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is you, man.
The casting directors were like overly complimentary. Like I was to the point where I was like, these people are lying to me. Like this, this is too nice. And then they were like, what are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, nothing. And they're like, we'd like you to come back and read for the lead. Like it would be Rob Schneider, his wife, and then you on the call sheet. And I was like, oh, okay. They're like,
What?
it's the part of the stalker. And I was like, oh, okay, I
Yes.
can do that.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
But, Adam, how much is it, do you think, just your demeanor is like, I feel like you're an easy guy to be around. And I feel like in just that aspect, like even if you're casting
Go
for a
with the
TV
flow.
show, like
Yeah.
if you're sitting there, you're a casting director, and you got Adam, and you got like three other guys, and they all kind of look like Adam. They all like connect. The way they act is probably damn near similar. Like they all have acting chops.
Sure.
But it's just like Adam seems like the cooler guy to be around, so you'd pick him just
Certainly
because
nice.
you'd
Like,
want.
You've always been pleasant. I would
I
throw
try.
That,
Well,
yeah.
the funny thing you're talking about the hate I've gotten over the years. I feel like some of it is two things. Either they think I'm being disingenuous, and that upsets them, or they're very depressed people.
Yes.
And when I'm happy or whatever, that I guess highlights their misery and it upsets them. I don't know. I've tried to figure out why people dislike me right off the bat for some reason. And
I
but
don't think.
I think
I
bullies,
there's a lot
too.
of jealousy too.
Yeah.
Like because you have a work ethic in you that a lot of people don't have, and I think it's very easy to sit back. Like that's probably the number one reason why I was attracted to you originally was I think we have sort of the same work ethic. We
Okay.
like working.
yeah.
We
I mean,
enjoy it.
I don't like waking up early, but I do like working.
Right, like you, but
Well,
you're,
that's the
but you
stand-up
do
in
work.
there.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's also just proof. Like if you look
Yeah.
at your schedule, like it's an impossibility for you to. You don't stay still, is what I'm saying.
No, I try not to. Any sort of stagnation bothers me.
Right.
I feel like I'm starting to head back
And
down.
not everybody's like that. So I think you can get a lot of people that look at like the things you accomplish and they think that these things just fall from the sky, but they don't. You have to like be present and be in it and doing it at all times to make them happy.
Yeah.
But also too, bullies are attracted to bullying nice people,
Right.
Because
Yeah, true.
like
They think they're easy targets.
bullies don't bully people that will punch them in the face because they'll get punched in the face. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They'll bully
Yeah.
Adam because Adam's not going to punch them in the face.
Right.
He'll laugh it off or whatever. He's a nice guy. So I think we saw a lot of that at the beginning in your career. Like everyone was messing around with Adam and stuff, and then like I'm curious, like the people that were really D heads to you back in the day, like now that you've had this much success, like I feel like you're the type of person that doesn't go back and even bother with telling that person like, look at me now.
Oh, like you mean like
know
you
what I'm
come
saying?
back later and you're
Yeah.
like, I bet you wish
I-
you had dated me. I have on Spanx.
I
Look
haven't.
at my waistline.
I haven't done that. What I did do, I had a buddy of mine who used to be bullied a lot, and then he rose up real quick.
Yeah.
And I reached out to someone who had bullied him, and I was like, just so you know, this guy you never thought would do anything is much more successful than you could have ever dreamed. And that did not go very well because it's been 10 years, and they were like, dude, I've changed. Like, what are you, 40? Like, why are you reaching out to me about this?
That is so hilarious. So you found somebody else's
That was a
bully.
movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I loved it. Adam, this is fantastic. So you found somebody else's bully, and you were like, you know what I'm going to do for my friend? I'm going to write their bully. I'm going to say, hey, you bully, look at how great they are now. And the person was like, they're like, oh, but
It was like, they were like, I was like, late teens, early 20s at the time. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like, how old are you now? You're still holding grudges about this?
Yeah. I'm not like, I'm an adult now. I have kids.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I got a mortgage. I don't know why you're messaging me.
So Adam, so what was your first big acting break? And then does it just like I guess avalanche from there?
I've got a crazy acting story for you that probably no one other than the people involved even know about, because you're talking about how I used to drive people around for media and come around.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this, but whatever.
That's fine.
you don't do it anymore,
You guys
right?
are radio.
You got the nod
guys,
from Tom.
right?
It's
So
fine.
Yeah, we're old radio guys.
You
turned
know
podcasters.
You know what War of the Roses is, right?
Yes.
Where-
Yeah.
It's the fake thing.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
we're
do-
familiar.
Oh, we talk about this all the time.
We talk about it, and then it makes all the guys that do it mad, and they write me, and they're like, "Stop talking about it being fake." And I'm like, "But it is fake."
Yeah.
So I've done a bunch of those for many years. For a
They
ton of
hire
years.
local actors to
Yeah.
improv.
Well, they hire. I've done it in Canada and Hawaii. I've done it all over the
My
country.
God, you were on Canadian War of the Roses.
yeah.
Put that on your IMDb, man.
Well, they tell you not to tell anyone this, but so I finally got to do a local one. It was for Power 95.3, and the scenario was my fiance I thought she was cheating on me with a guy who owned a local car dealership, and he did his own commercials or whatever.
Okay.
And so
Were they
did-
zany? Were they zany commercials?
Yeah. So they,
I'm in a pickle.
yeah.
It's my nickel pickle sale.
I was super.
My attorney.
Like, sorry.
I was super excited about it because I'm like, I could finally hear it. Like, you record them, but you never get to hear them.
Yeah.
And I did this one, and when it came out that she was cheating, I was like, "Where are you?" And she's like, "I'm at work." And
That
I'm
was
like,
hold on a second.
Scared the hell out of me.
Scared the crap out. Good God, you're a good actor.
so I was like, "I'm gonna come there and I'm gonna punch you in the throat and kick him in the nuts," something like that. And then I ran out of my house, held my phone next to the door, and slammed the door to make sure they could hear it. I got in my car, started it. Did a burnout out of my driveway, and then went
Your
Right.
method
Wow.
acting.
He
went
did
over.
good.
Yeah. I was pulling out all the stops.
My God, we got
Gets
goddamn
110%.
De Niro over here giving the performance of his life.
I went driving down the street and I held the phone down near my lap, screaming at traffic that wasn't there as I hung up the phone. And I was like, this is going to be great. I can't wait to hear this. Pulled back in my driveway, and I was like listening to Power like the rest of the week going, I can't wait to hear this. And I never heard it. So the next time I went to do media, I went when I went to Power, I was like, hey, I did a call with you guys and I never heard it. What happened to it? And they're like, we don't know what you're talking about, because they're not supposed to say anything either. And I was like,
we don't know what you're talking about. And by the way, War of the Roses is totally real.
You're like, listen, I did it. Like, I was talking
I'm
to you.
one of the roses.
Yeah. I was hired
I'm a rose.
by the company that you paid.
Here's
Like,
where it gets crazy. So I said, I'm going to kick him in the nuts and punch you in the throat. And they were like,
Oh, you can't.
that
punch
was
the woman.
you?
Oh, you were the loose cannon rose.
They're like, you have no idea what happened with that. So they went to break, and they're like, listen, here's what happened. We played it twice, once in the morning and once at night. And we got so inundated with phone calls from people, number one, that were terrified for what happened to that girl and wanted to make certain she was okay.
my God.
And number two, a ton of women who thought their husband was the guy that we were talking about, that she was cheating with, that owned the car dealership.
God, my husband's an abusive Rose.
They thought I didn't realize there were this many car dealerships in Orlando that do
Oh
their
my
own.
God, yeah.
But like there were so many of those that they had to have a meeting with the president of Cox Radio, play her the phone call, which was later than their show. That's they had to stay later or come in later for.
Oh,
this
they
meeting.
love that. The radio guys love staying late.
And she decided.
By the way,
that-
we're talking 11:30 a.m.
Right.
I think it was noon.
I'm like, I'm here. It's past noon. What am I, an animal?
I'm supposed to be on the golf course or in my pool in my McMansion.
They decided that like she heard the radio the phone call, and she decided that they could never do that style of prank on any of the radio stations in all of Cox Media ever again.
You killed Warren Roses?
Oh my God,
I
yeah.
killed more roses in
That is
all
so
of Cox
great. I
Media.
thought I hadn't heard it in
He
a
won the
while.
war. He won the war.
You won the
Oh my
Rose
God.
War.
I was there with Adam Ferrara, and he looks at me and goes, "Dude, you're like a modern day Orson Welles."
You crushed it, dude.
Think of the arguments that were happening at dinner tables. The guys have no
Yeah.
idea what their wife is mad about, and she's just so certain. This cheating dude is.
That
I
was
hate
you.
him.
I knew
know
it was you. Where have you been sticking that nickel pickle?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because they want the drama until it gets too real,
Yeah.
and
Then
then
they're
they
like,
get
pull
then they get
back.
scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would have known also that you were the only other guy that I know of that has used your phone and slammed a door to make
Right.
Remember you
No,
did the
right.
Radio Magic.
Yeah, like Radio Magic. You were you too have been known to act on the radio on a telephone.
It turns out easy to fool dummies. Who would have known? Who would have known?
Do
I
you
think-
have a copy of the recording?
I
call?
don't. They
Damn
told
it.
me. They told me that they were gonna send me one, and then I think they decided they didn't want it to leak out because they were like,
Right.
"We'll send it to you, but don't share it with anyone."
They don't
And
like
then-
doing that. Yeah.
And then they told me that it disappeared. Like they don't have it.
Uh-huh.
yeah, it was
Which we-
deleted before litigation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we
what
we
happened.
all know that they still had it somewhere in an
Oh,
archive.
they still have it somewhere now. You know, like
But-
all of that
Somebody's
stuff.
got it.
Yeah, somebody's got it.
But yeah, that was the first time I think I'd ever done anything that was like that side of acting.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And I guess it never occurred to me that I would be doing a lot of like the bad guy or heavy. Like I mean, you guys have known me for 10. Like that's just not who I am.
If I didn't, I don't think if I just knew what you look like, though, I don't think I would pick that stuff because I think you're very polite and I think you're calm and
Yeah.
just kind of chill.
I've had I did a movie recently where I was supposed to play like a low life kind of guy, and I remember the director came up to me at one point and he's like, "You sound too educated. Like,
Can you dumb it down
Yeah.
a
when
little?
you're trying to rob the kid, can you sound like you've done some math or something?"
Yeah, let's
Like-
talk about that. Are you now like when you first started, like acting and transition from comedy into more acting stuff? Were you like, well, this is my look, I'm gonna lean in, or were you like, I'm gonna take what comes to me? Like because a lot of people that may not know what you look like, you are very tall. You do have curly long hair.
Yeah, a
you-
beard.
When
you
I
do have a
first
beard. You're
started-
kind of menacing, but like also you could go a lot of different ways, right? You could go, I think maybe, and I don't think you'll take offense to this, but you could go nerd. You could go, you could go giant. You could go.
I get
Murderer.
basically-
Murderer, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I've played murderers before. I get basically creepy dude, stoner, hacker,
Hacker's a
best
good one.
friend, redneck. They've started a lot making me like. They're like, this guy looks like he could have been there on January 6th. That's just
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, you do. Okay.
Viking helmet.
Yeah, you're just going stereotype. Sure, I could see it.
Yeah, you put me in a flannel shirt, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that guy likes
Yeah,
trouble."
like you put me in a red baseball hat, and you're like, "Look, it's a Fred Durst doll or something." Like seriously, you'd be like, "Ah,
Yeah.
But
we
that's-
all have our look."
Adam, do you think that helps? Because I don't like.
Well, when I first started acting, especially here in Orlando, there were a lot of casting directors that were like, "We have no idea where to put this guy." So when I first started, I mean, I'd get one audition every couple of months. Like literally, like 2 or 3 months, I'd get an audition. 2 or 3 months later, but I was booking something every year
Yeah,
somehow, which they say the average is like 1 in 50. So the fact that I was still booking something every year while only doing like maybe 12 auditions the whole year is crazy.
Well, it's a testament to how talented you are, and also, again, I think just your personality. People are cool to be around. It's like, and people forget about like how much your personality and just being a cool person actually will help you with your life.
Yeah.
Like, people should focus more on that
Yeah,
because it does help.
You've always been naturally positive, almost to a point where, because of your looks, I'll look at you like when I was first meeting you, and I'm like, this guy's like more positive than you look more menacing, and you are more positive. Like you are like, I think, a positive.
I never
human being.
thought of myself as a menacing person because I know, I guess you only see yourself for how you know what's going on in your head and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I just saw myself as this, and like I forget what I look like.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I think I do
now
too.
I'm more. You forget what I look like?
No, me. I mean, like, I think everybody does, right? I think it's very common for you to, like, you're Adam, and
But I have to be aware of what I look like. Like, I mean, if I don't know, there's different situations. Like, I can't walk up to like if there's a lady having a problem with a gas pump or something, I can't be the guy to be like, "Can I help you?" You know, like,
Right.
she's like, whoa.
But I
To be
can't.
fair, they all scare us.
But I can't.
I'm gonna get maced.
I can because they just think it's Brad Williams, and I can walk up there and I can be like, "Hello."
Yeah. And I'm just generic white guy.
Yeah, you really are.
With a little rosacea, non-threatening.
You can do it.
Yeah. I can
definitely
help any
Yeah,
lady.
You can't help any
Oh my
lady
god.
because you're only
And I'm
one
not scared
notch.
of-
You're
yeah.
a half notch above a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just, as far as the look, it was just what I mean, this is just how I was comfortable. It was kind of like I liked the way my hair looked, like because there was a long period of time where I didn't have a good hairstyle, like what I liked, and there's also like trying to grow hair this long. There's an in between phase where it just looks weird.
Oh, yeah,
until
oh,
it
yeah,
gets,
yeah.
until it gets really long.
Like you have like long curly hair. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't know that, and
And
I think that adds to the look, right?
Yeah.
So when I first started, it was difficult to get cast and stuff. There were some casting directors, like the biggest casting director in Florida, told my agent she never wanted to see me because she didn't like my hair. The moment I was in a Ron Howard movie, she booked me on the very next thing she auditioned me for.
It's weird the things that I hear from people about like they're. It's like they have a look that they're going after, and they're like, "Oh, I can never look at that." But that doesn't mean anything because later it can change.
When I first started acting, I went down to go. I mean, I was broke as anything. I went down to meet with one of the biggest agents in Central Florida, is down near Clearwater, and the person who invited me wasn't there. I guess they had either quit or gotten fired or just didn't show up that day or whatever. The only person there was the owner. She wasn't expecting me. And she was just, it was a modeling agency that turned into an acting agency.
Okay.
And she saw me sitting there, was just like annoyed, like, what is this ogre doing in my waiting room?
Right.
And she told me, she's like, you look too weird. You're never going to work a day in this industry. Just get the F out of my office.
Yeah, because
God.
there's no
You told me about
weird-looking
that.
actors.
I've never. Those are the things that I'm always like. Well, I don't even know why you needed to say that. Like seriously, from
you
a
could-
business standpoint. Like, look, I've worked with a lot of interns.
Did you say thank you for your time?
I guess you could say
We're not interested. Thank you. Like, is there some?
Yeah, I guess you could say I'm a professional broadcaster and have been for 30 years, right? But there's never, and like, I guess some people could say that I can look at somebody and talk to somebody and tell you within the first 5 minutes of whether or not I think they will make it in broadcasting, right? But it has never occurred to me to ever, that person, even if they really want it, to go like, your voice is terrible, your ideas are stupid, you're not funny, this is a waste of my time. Like,
although-
why even say that?
Although
don't know.
thank you for your time won't give you any fire in your belly to prove them wrong.
Oh,
which
yeah,
does
that
help.
has-
I mean,
No, I
you
think
know,
that's a BS.
that-
I've been working real hard for years to
That-
prove that lady
the-
wrong.
the-
Like, that's been a driving
did.
force
Michael
for a
Jordan based his career off this. Like his
yeah.
anger to
Is
win
that
and
the old? I don't believe that story about them hanging his pee pants on the
So-
line, and then he had to run home
I had
every day to get the pee pants off of the line before his friends would see, and that's what led to make him so fast. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Well, also, no one can tell it's pee. It's just underwear hanging
I
on the
can
line.
tell. Yeah.
It's not like they're yellow.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
if he liked
Unless
orange
they're like
juice-
white
Yeah.
pants.
Yeah.
But even that, you can see.
If he liked orange juice, they're bright yellow.
So Adam, let's talk about Stranger Things
All
because
right.
I got to ask you about the shirt and the whole thing. They
Oh,
went
dude,
out.
it's
It
so
was
crazy.
So you get the part in Stranger Things. Like what's the
So-
process like, and then what's the filming like?
I auditioned for season 2 and didn't get it.
Okay.
And then I auditioned for season 3 and didn't get it.
What do they film at?
Oh
Atlanta?
damn!
They
so
filmed-
you
they-
just stayed consistent,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
finally booked it.
This season they filmed mostly in Atlanta. Like the previous seasons have, I think, pretty much all been in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But this season, because they had such a big budget, they filmed a lot in Atlanta, some in Arizona, and some in a foreign country where they did Russia. I think it was Lithuania or something.
Weird.
Yeah.
Why? I'm like,
Well,
Well,
Ukraine's got problems right now.
no, but I'm saying, like, seems like to fly everybody out there is like just pick you somewhere close. I
They
don't know.
listen when they get to that big of a budget, they're like,
Anything
"Why
goes-
recreate it?
Okay.
We can go there."
Yeah,
Okay.
it does become one of those things, and then it becomes like whomever's directing it is like, well, this was my vision. Let's make it the vision.
Well,
you know?
like they got legitimate. Apparently, they got like legitimate Russian uniforms and stuff.
Oh wow.
And they just had to age them and make them look good. But like they had that certain authenticity. They like to use a lot of authentic clothing, which is where that whole T-shirt. thing
Unrelated,
comes in.
related. 2022 pictures of the year. One of mine will be that big fat Russian general. That is a funny. I don't care who you are. That I see that picture. I'm like, oh man, look at him. Look how fat he is.
So Adam, let's
So
talk about
funny.
the part you get casted in.
So I auditioned for this part, and I thought this part was absolutely amazing, and I was like, I know that I have enough backstory and other traumas that I can tap into to really sell this, and I booked it, which I was super excited about. I didn't even like. Normally, your agent calls you to tell you booked it, but Wardrobe called me and they're like, "Hey, we need your size." I was like, "Does that mean I booked it?" And they're like, "Did no one tell you?" I'm like, "No, no one told me."
really,
This is crazy.
wow,
Wardrobe
man.
called
That's
you.
Yeah,
hilarious.
she was. It was an awkward moment. Where
That
she was
makes me
like,
feel
"I
better
don't
about
know."
our business.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was an awkward moment where she was like, "I don't know if I'm supposed to be the one calling you right now, but you booked it."
Yeah,
It
that,
does
that
make
means
me feel better.
Wardrobe was more organized.
Because Stranger Things, what would you say? Top 10 biggest show in
It's
the
the
world?
biggest one right now.
It-
I think
it's-
it's the biggest show right now.
So
right?
when it came out, if IMDb Pro has they have ratings for actors and directors and even like businesses and TV shows and movies are all lumped together. It has been number one since it came out on May 27th. Even when Maverick came out, which was super popular, it hit a height of 2 because it couldn't knock Stranger Things down.
Wow.
And it's the biggest movie that Tom Cruise has ever done.
yeah. Oh yeah, Mavericks.
So
Mavericks a
it,
beast.
it was
It's
number one in
gigantic.
like 85 countries.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it was top 10 in like 95 countries.
That's
It's
crazy.
And this season even more popular because of the back seasons and people catch up and stuff
I
like
think
you know.
this
Yeah.
is kind of the one everybody like this.
It was
and the
good.
Next.
Season
yeah.
2, Season 3, and Season 1 were in the Netflix top 10 at the same time.
Crazy.
But so when I booked it, I found out the day before that they had split my part into multiple people into 2 people, and they only gave me 1 line. And I was like, I was real disappointed in it. But then I was like, you know what? I don't care. I love this show. I just want to be a part of it. So I don't care if I get heard but never seen. I just want to be there. And so I completely fleshed out the character, gave myself a backstory. You have to make assumptions as to what's going on. Like I only know that scene, so I don't know the backstory of what actually happened. So you have to fill in the blanks, you know. And so we go there. We do rehearsals, right? And it's just the cast that are speaking that are there for the rehearsals before they bring in extras and any of that, because this was the height of COVID, right? So they weren't even using the air conditioning in this place. They just had like a truck outside pumping an AC into a room next door, so it was real hot. in
What if
there.
the truck had COVID in it? You know?
So
well, we-
everybody's in full mask and like
Yeah.
protocol thing, yeah.
Full mask until we shoot, and everyone takes their masks off, put it in their pocket. We do rehearsals, and if you watch that scene again, there's also a woman who's shouting at the sheriffs.
Yeah.
She was originally the one that was sitting in the spot that I'm sitting in, did the whole march out thing to start the mob and all that. But I think there's some acting classes, some acting teachers that'll tell you save it all for camera. Like when you're doing rehearsals, just just say the words but don't put any emphasis behind them. And I think that's what she was doing, because when she did trying to start the mob, she sounded like the mom of a toddler. She's like, all right, come on, everybody, let's go. We're going to go outside here. And I was watching that going, I mean, I did that way differently. I guess that's what they wanted. It didn't occur to me that she was doing it wrong.
I like
guess,
that also is an attest to how nice he is, that he's like, oh, I did that way differently instead
Maybe
of,
I did it wrong.
this
Yeah.
lady sucks.
Yeah,
way good.
What is she doing?
I just
Idiot.
want to point that out, that
It
in
was-
case you're following along, that's why he's nice.
I would have given her advice. I'd be like, "You're doing it all
Yeah,
wrong."
I was like, oh my God, are you an actress? What the hell?
It didn't even occur to me. I was just like, okay, they had a different vision for this scene than I did, because, again, you don't know what's happening before or
Right.
after. You just have to make up your mind. And so I was like, I must have gone too hard on it. And we did it a couple of times, and then we go to the dressing room or the green room, where I saw the chair that said cast, but it was in the Stranger Things font, and I'm freaking out like, oh my God, look at
Yeah,
that.
that is cool.
And
That's cool.
everyone else that was there was like, it's a Tuesday, man. Yeah, we have those chairs. I was the only one freaking out. But so then a PA came and got asked for myself and that woman to go back to set, and we talked to someone that I would later find out is a director, and he was like, listen, we got 1,000 pages of script. Sometimes there's miscommunication. Lines get crossed. That being said, he points at her and goes, you're not saying those lines anymore. He is. And she was like, what about the scene with the dog? And he's like, yeah, he's going to do that too. And I was like, is there a dog here? I like dogs. Can I pet it? And he's like, there's no dog here. And
No, you can't pet the dog, you idiot. Don't make me regret this decision, big guy.
I realized in that moment two things. Number one, he was incredibly embarrassed for having to do this. And number two, she was livid.
Oh.
And I knew she was being downgraded, but I didn't totally understand it until at the end of the day when
This
he said,
MFer took my dog scene away.
that's when I found out the dog scene was in another episode. So I went from one line to recurring, and she went from recurring down to one line. They switched our spots. So I was
just based off the rehearsal.
Just based off the
Oh
rehearsal.
my God.
I was
You're going to
buried
get killed
in
by
the-
this woman in your sleep.
I was buried in the crowd, and they probably would have never seen me on camera. And she was directly behind the woman at the microphone, which you could see through the whole scene. And they switched us, so you only see her in that brief moment when she's screaming at the.
Yes.
But you see me, I stick out like a sore thumb the entire scene until I say, people who know me immediately go, oh my God, that blurry guy is Adam. That's totally Adam right
Oh,
there.
well, you're so easy to find. Like
Yeah.
the night I found him, he was at a Braves game with Felipe.
Yeah.
They were just sitting there, and I go, "Oh my God, that's Adam!" And I'm like, then I look at his Instagram, and he's behind the plate
It's
at a
the
Braves
hair.
game. I go, "Well,
Yeah.
it's the easiest guy to spot
Yeah, yeah.
on TV
I
is Adam Murray."
once did a Winn-Dixie commercial with Wayne Brady, and I was originally supposed to be they were going to cast me as one of the main people, but
Yeah.
Wayne only wanted to be opposite women. And
Interesting.
so,
Yeah.
if you notice on
man.
on
gonna
Whose
start
Line Is It
saying that to
Anyway,
people.
if you notice on
Right.
Whose Line Is It Anyway, whenever he brought someone
By the
up
way,
to
this
sing
is
to
a-
him, it was always a woman.
Most bizarre trends. You're like, I once did a Winn-Dixie
Winn-Dixie
commercial,
commercial. That
with
in
Wayne
itself.
Brady.
Yeah.
But he wanted a woman.
So that I was
Winn-Dixie and Wayne Brady.
I was background, and so I'm walking around with a shopping cart. And throughout the day, they progressively moved me farther and farther away. Till the end of the day, they're shooting on the front register, and I am back by the pharmacy, just walking my cart. And they sent someone over to me to be like, "Hey, listen, when they replay this, there's still we can totally tell that's that guy we saw earlier. He can't." You're not very backgroundy, dude. You gotta kind of.
You do
Wayne
this
I don't
shot.
Brady
blend in.
kicked you out of his Winn-Dixie commercial. Wow.
I was like,
Wow.
I felt like that was a compliment.
Wayne Brady and Winn-Dixie, that's a win-win.
So
That's their new ad campaign. Is it's a win-win?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a trash person.
we
I still shop at Winn-Dixie.
we're running out of time, but we'll do another segment because I got to talk about this T-shirt. So
Oh, yeah, the
let's
T-shirt.
talk.
Yeah, we
so,
didn't even get into that.
So we'll go into that, but we'll save it kind of the full story for the next segment. But so you wear this South Aiken High School T-shirt.
Yeah.
That obviously you're a part of the town. You're wearing the shirt. It's a fictional logo developed by someone in the Stranger Things production, right?
No.
Okay.
That shirt. So they wear real vintage clothing on the
From the
show
80s.
From the 80s. Everything that they wear, they try. If they can't actually find real vintage clothing for everyone, if there's a specific look they want that they don't think they can find, they create it. Like some of the leather boots and stuff they create.
Here's an odd aside. You're going to be on Scotch and Good Conversation later.
Yeah.
Our friend Peter, that's his show. That used to be one of his jobs.
Yeah.
Is sourcing vintage clothing for shows like Stranger Things. He sells a lot of vintage suits and a lot of crazy polyester get-ups to like big name productions. I forget the name of the movie with Viggo Mortensen.
He did a bunch of movies.
The one movie where the actual, I know that's funny. The one where the actual poster, he's on the front of it in a, like, I want to say it's like a green leisure suit. That's a Peter suit. Peter is the
Really?
one.
Wow.
You're talking about Captain Fantastic, which is a great movie, by the way.
Yeah. Whatever that suit is on the front, that's Peter's suit, and he sold it to him for a pretty penny.
So
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's weird how you guys you'll mesh well. It'll be good.
So the wardrobe, like, did you know?
Basically, you go in for I went in for a hair test, and I went in for a wardrobe test, and so these are all things I can't post about any of this stuff. So I was posting stuff like a picture of my coffee maker, and I'm like getting up early and putting work in, and people are like, no one gives a crap about your coffee. Like, I'm like,
it's
you
gonna
will.
drive you
will."
crazy because you can't say anything.
I couldn't say a single thing. And so I had a bunch of friends who came up to Atlanta and took pictures at Stranger Things filming locations, and they had missed me by like a day. Like at the lab, that's where I went and had like my COVID test and my hair test and stuff like that. They did my hair up all crazy 80s, and then they decided to put a hat on me, so it didn't matter. But like, I mean, so the hair, the wardrobe thing, when you go and do a big project like this, they put you in a bunch of different outfits and they take photos of you, and then they decide later what you're gonna wear. And
it's crazy how much work is involved in these shows. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that you don't see. Like they're having multiple, not even like the main actors, but everybody that's on camera.
Teams, yeah.
They have them put together different outfits, and then someone chooses out of those different outfits.
Right.
Just, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Right, there are options.
You think like in my mind, you just show up and then they're like, all right, this is what the clothes you're gonna wear, and then you go on.
Because some of it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Some of it you might look at all the different actors on stage together, and you might be like, well, okay, we got to change
Well,
some
also
things.
because they had gone through that many outfits, they had an outfit for me without having me come back to do for the next episode. So, but that scene is deceptively simple because that took 16 hours to shoot that.
16 hours.
16 hours, yeah. So every time they change camera angles, they have to move all the camera equipment, they have to move all the lights, they rearrange the furniture in the room, and a lot of the lights, they're like you have ceiling panels here, they're running them through the ceiling panels, redoing the electricity to hang lights and stuff. I mean, the amount of it's so much more than just having like a drop light that they just stand, okay, move it over. Like, I mean, they had lights coming in through the windows. The amount of production they're putting on is otherworldly. It's insane. It like the Ron Howard movie was not as crazy as these guys were doing this TV show. And
you think it's just because the popularity and the budget got so big that everything has got to be meticulously perfect?
Yeah, they're doing this was their like big season to be like, we have an endless budget, we have a blank check. They wanted every single episode is basically a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the production value is crazy.
So, okay, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, I want Adam to tell the story about what the T-shirt he wore.
Yeah, there's a little kerfluffle there. Right?
Ends up becoming the super popular T-shirt that everybody wants, and you're doing a charity component, you get shut down. I want to talk about all this because
it's all crazy.
It's interesting. It also goes to show you the power of this TV show. Like even
100%.
A T-shirt from a character that Adam's playing that is like you could.
You would never think a wardrobe choice would turn into this.
But also, it's a big deal, but also a small part. You know, it's a small part for in a show, but it has that much power because the show's that big.
Correct.
Well, also the part I played had such a big effect on the show. Like basically the whole reason, not to spoil it for anyone, cover your ears, earmuffs. The whole reason everything just goes to trash at the end is because of what I do in in episode 9.
You were the butterfly that flapped its
You
wings.
were.
Exactly. Started at the
You have no idea how many messages I got of like you killed this person and
Yeah,
you put
yeah.
this person.
Oh, man.
You're a murderer.
It was
That's
all because
funny.
of you.
That's funny. You're right. All right, so let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
So Adam Murray's here. So this T-shirt, South Aiken High School shirt, and there was other wardrobe that they
They had a few different choices. They were gonna put me in a sweater. So what I'm wearing in the show is an undershirt, the South Aiken shirt, some sort of flannel on top of that, and then this denim jacket that it has a wool liner.
Yeah, you were
that
layered up.
is like
Oh, by the way,
the wool
hot
liner
as
is like
hell.
a centimeter.
And a hat and his long
Yeah,
hair.
and these big boots and these giant heavy jeans. I was brewing soup. Like I was because, like I said, they couldn't run the AC in the building
because of COVID.
and it was 16 hours. And at one point, like hair and makeup were coming by checking people's hair, and I was like, "Did you want to check mine?" And they're like, "No, you're supposed to look dingy." And I was like, "No, what? No one told me that. Why is that a thing?"
I mean, weren't you sweating like crazy?
oh yeah. Like if you watch that episode and you look closely, I look like I've worked a long hard day because I had worked a long hard day.
Yeah.
Like the close up was at the end of the day, and looking back on it, I feel like they were like, let's let him get really sweaty all day and then do that. The close up will look so realistic.
I did very much wonder why, and that makes sense because it did add to like it being authentic.
Yeah, because it was.
Yeah,
it was. Like they didn't come retouch me at all. They never, like I was like just wiping sweat with my shirt and whatnot because they didn't come over to tap me down. They were like, and a lot of productions they'll be like, "You're glistening," and they'll tap you down and put powder on you. They never did that for me, and I think that's because that's the look they wanted.
Interesting. How do they just do normal, like, because they have to keep the continuity? Obviously, they had chosen what you were in. They landed on the South Aiken High School shirt. How do they launder that? Or do it, like, very carefully? Or like
I don't know.
I mean,
like someone else takes care of all that. Like that.
because like the hat, everything that you're in is going to get sweat in it, right? It's going to be like a real
Do you get
thing.
to keep it?
No,
Oh.
everyone's asked me that. A museum reached out because they wanted that shirt for the museum. That Aiken has a museum, and they're like, "We want the actual shirt you wore." And I was like, "You're gonna have to ask production because I don't have it." Like this turned into a whole crazy thing.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about
you
it.
would have never thought a wardrobe decision. Well, like, so when we went in for the wardrobe test, one of the things I said I didn't want to wear was that sweater because they wanted the sweater underneath the jacket, and like I'd die.
Yeah.
I
It's
said,
too
I
long.
know it's gonna be hot. It was May in Atlanta last year.
With
Like,
no AC.
Yeah,
No
it's a different
AC.
kind of heat too, man.
Yeah.
Like I love Atlanta, but in the city, it is just disgusting.
it was
It's-
so hot. But like, so I wear this shirt. I went viral on Reddit for taking a picture of myself in front of the TV. Like I'm standing in front of my character in front of the TV. So that was the first time I went viral. And I was like terrified because I'm answering everyone's questions. And I'm like, I'm not the guy that Stranger Things has chosen as their spokesperson. And all of a sudden, and it went viral like 1 a.m. because someone messaged me, a friend messaged me like, "Dude, I didn't expect to be scrolling and seeing your face." I was like, "Oh, that's crazy. Where'd you see it?" And he's like, "Reddit." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, "I'm not even in that group." I'm like, "Are you saying I'm on the main page?"
Yeah, you were on the main page. I had a friend send it to me.
It's crazy.
He's
And
like,
so,
you know this guy.
so I freaked out because I was like, I don't know if production's going to get mad at me or what, because I'm answering all these questions.
Because business-wise, you don't want to have some headache. The production to be like, we're not gonna.
Who's
have
this guy that was in like 2 scenes and all of a sudden like he's telling everyone about Stranger Things? And like people are asking me about, am I going to be in the next drop? Because it was just after the first drop, and I was like, I just posted like the smiley face with the zipper lips because I was like, I don't want to say yes or no.
Right.
I don't want to say anything that they could be like, you violated your NDA.
Yeah.
Sue
Oh
you for
my God.
everything.
Can you believe? Like I would like. Oh, that's so
when
scary.
when you sign that NDA, like they make you sign it when you sign one when you audition, and then they make you sign another one the first time you go to set. It's an iPad, and it takes a photo of you signing it. Like, they're that serious with it.
Really?
Yeah, and they tell you not to
I
take
like
any.
that. I want a picture of everybody signing everything for my company.
They they want you not to take any photos or video, like, once you cross into like the
upside
studio.
down. Oh, sorry.
And then
So-
probably, I mean, if you violate that, you immediately, you probably get blackballed from a lot of production, right?
Probably,
Like,
yeah. They're just gonna be like, this guy's a headache. Why are we gonna bother with him? Because Stranger Things had a problem with him. You know what I mean? Like,
it could ruin your career, right?
oh yeah, totally. So I was like, I had told like 2 comics or 3 comics that I was gonna be in it, and I pretty much found out that every one of those told someone else who told someone else who told someone else. And
Oh,
one day I
God.
just got a phone call before it came out, and I didn't think I was going to be in the first drop. I thought both of my episodes were going to be in the second drop, and I had a phone call from another comic who's from Las Vegas. He's like, "Hey, are you going to be in Stranger Things?" I was like, "Who told you that?" And he's like, "Forget that. I just need to know, are you going to be in Stranger Things?" And I was like, that's when I realized
How told too many people. Yeah.
how
Ross told us, and we told everyone on the show.
Yeah, I broadcast it.
I mean, I realized how serious how serious an NDA could be for a show like that when I told my acting teacher, who's told us not to tell anyone, and she was like, "Can I post about it?" I was like, "No, you told us not to tell anyone. Like, what are you doing?" But yeah, it's crazy. So the T-shirt,
Yeah.
it turns out it was for a real high school that still exists today, and it's a tiny little town of I think there's 25,000 people or something that live there, and a lot of people still live there who went there. Some people still have the shirt. There's people who've been posting pictures like, I still have my shirt from 1982 or whenever it was, and I was like, that's crazy.
So they actually found the design from South Aiken High School.
No, they
No, the
found an
shirt.
actual shirt.
Remember, it's all vintage clothing.
It's all
so
vintage
it's,
clothing.
it's an actual shirt that they
From the
printed.
80s.
They made its way to a thrift store. That made its way to a casting person.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
they didn't
He
even
is-
recreate it.
No,
It's
it's a
actual-
real shirt.
Oh, wow.
So what happened was,
That was
a
a
girl.
real. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you.
Well,
We've been
because
talking
to me,
about-
it's just like I thought they saw a picture in the
No.
research R&D, and then they just
No,
No.
this is like a real.
Okay.
This
like
lady,
it'd
there's
be
a
no
team
different
of
if I had
people.
like a 1982 Deland High School
Yeah.
shirt,
Yeah.
and they're out there. Andrea
Yeah.
has one that was, I think, belonged to one of her relatives. That's like an actual Deland High School shirt, and that's what he had on. Was like
Yeah.
is a South Aiken High School
Yeah, so-
shirt from '82.
Someone noticed because I'm in the scene where I'm marching out. You can see it. So had I not been upgraded to have that whole scene, this would have never happened. Had they not chosen that shirt, this would have never happened. It was so serendipitous that everything came together. Someone noticed during my close-up when I'm shouting at him, like, why are y'all sitting around for? You heard the kid. They paused it and took this picture of me on the screen, and it went viral just in that community, I guess, or people that used to live there. It got shared 1,000 times on Facebook.
He looks like us.
And
It
people-
was, well, I mean, because it's the most big deal that South Aiken High School. I mean, I'm saying
That's awesome.
Normally, they would never.
Yeah, think if
nobody-
your high school was on Stranger Things.
yeah.
I'd be like,
It's
It's
holy
like
crap.
Miami Killian. I'll be like,
Yeah.
oh my God,
Yeah.
Killian.
It's like I think this is real, but there's a
Yeah.
point in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre where they have the road closed and they ask the person, "Hey, where are you headed?" And the guy goes, "DeLand, Florida," and everyone from DeLand was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
we claim the Texas Chainsaw Massacre."
even
It
though
doesn't
it's-
matter what it is.
Yeah.
If you're a small town and something is in a movie that represents that small town, you're like, "Yes."
But if you think about even a small town, like thousands upon thousands of people grew up there and
Yeah,
left and knew. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like a small town. You're like, but there's 50,000 people that know about this town or have lived there
yeah.
or like
If
grew
not
up there.
more.
Yeah, and they're
there were probably
generations.
only 50 of these shirts made. If you really think
Yeah,
about
yeah,
yeah.
high school T-shirts and how they're
So
printed,
they-
it's
yeah, they-
usually less than 100, guys.
yeah, they might have printed maybe 200
Yeah.
originally.
So then, what happened after this?
So the school decided that there was so much popularity behind it that they were going to reprint the shirts. And also I talked to the school about coming in to do a fundraiser, which I was like, you don't have to pay me. Just someone volunteered a hotel room for me. I'm like, cool. And I was going to ask them for gas, but then I was like, I don't want any money I take from them is just money that doesn't go to the kids.
Yeah.
So I started to do that, and then I was like, you know what? I can set up a comedy show there, and then I can make money from that and still give more to the school from that, and I'd feel comfortable profiting from that as opposed to their benefit thing.
Gotcha.
So that's how that started, and then once when I had the fundraiser in line, then and I was still working on trying to get the stand-up show to go, because that was like a month of negotiations with this theater, because they were like, this guy is from Stranger Things. He's got deep pockets. They want to charge me $3,000 for a 300. It's like 315 seat venue for one night.
Yeah, it's
And
ridiculous.
I had to talk them down.
For a charity?
but then also
it's
like,
owned by the city, so it was like dealing with the DMV. So
My
every time I
God.
asked a question or negotiated, it had to go to a committee, and it would take a day or two and come back. It was I had to hire a guy to deal with that, because
Oh my God.
it was. I mean, I just couldn't handle the stress of it.
Now, by the way, they would have given that to you for free and just taken the alcohol sales if any that you
That's
weren't
a
from
whole-
Stranger Things. you
That
know?
is a whole other problem, the alcohol sales, because they won't allow beverages in the showroom. So like I've had a couple of alcohol vendors that dropped out because they didn't want to just sell in the lobby, and then people could be like, "What do you mean I can't take? I just bought it here." Like it's a whole thing. that's
like you
caused-
couldn't take it into. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It was
so,
where
like-
some South Carolina. I mean, there's still dry
There-
counties and
Yeah.
stuff. You know, it's ridiculous.
They're still trying to figure out, because we talked to them about having resealable containers like those aluminum bottles. They're waiting for their risk assessment team to figure out if they'll allow people to go in there if their bottles are sealed, so there's not a chance of spillage.
Oh my God.
I'm still waiting. The show is
I
in
went to
2
Cirque du
weeks.
Soleil over the weekend, and they put the beer in a plastic cup with a lid that has a twist, like a toddler. So it has like
Yeah.
a little twist with a hole, so you can sip out
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
look at your
Yeah,
face.
well, I don't-
I was like, hey,
I don't
they
know.
don't want you spilling it in
I
that
don't-
nice theater.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember the way the old Cirque du Soleil theater
I never
looked,
went.
but- oh my God, it looked like a flea world when we got done with it.
Just get a cleaning
yeah.
crew.
No, it was like if you have carpet or whatever, it was just it
yeah.
was destroyed.
It's a whole thing. I was surprised at how difficult it was to set this show up. It's been a whole thing. But so they reprinted the shirts.
Yeah.
And they spent no time in trying to figure out who printed the shirts to begin with, which should be fine, but that's a whole other thing. So they reprinted the shirts. They started selling them by the hundreds. They shipped them to 20 different states. They sent me a letter saying that they sold so many of them that the children at this school are going to benefit from it for years to come.
Wow.
So it's
That's
got to
awesome.
it's got to be in the like low thousands that they've actually
great.
shipped.
I mean, the show is so insanely popular. People
Yeah.
that didn't even know that existed will get the shirt.
Yeah.
Just because people, they're
So
yeah.
people love like niche, tiny characters. You know, if
Yeah.
there's something that not everyone would know about, that makes it all the more desirable. So people from the show, people who are fans of the show have sought out the shirt. People who are fans of the town, you know, or from the town. People who have seen me do comedy, like people have seen me do comedy in like California and I don't know, Idaho and shit are all sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
They're all ordering this shirt, and so they're shipping them all over the place. And the guy who originally printed the shirt reached out to them and was like, "Well, I want my cut." And they're like, "What do you mean your cut?" He's like, "I originally designed the shirt." But here's the thing. I've talked to a bunch of people.
And this
He's-
guy's from
He's from Aiken.
yeah,
He lives in
South
Aiken.
Carolina. Like he designed this shirt back in
1982 or
Okay,
whatever. So, but
Well,
here's
he's
the
gonna
40
be
years ago.
70 years old,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
How old
I
is
mean,
he?
we should literally use every ounce of our being to destroy this person.
So he basically sent a cease and desist to both the school and the t-shirt shop that were printing this because he wanted his cut and they weren't. They're like it's going to the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
of the proceeds were going to the kids.
Yeah,
The
nobody
t-shirt-
cared
Yeah,
until
no one's profiting
Right.
off of it except
Yeah.
for the school, and this is a fundraiser.
Yeah. And so I had a long conversation with this guy where I was like, listen,
Was he old though? Like he had to have been old as
He
hell.
didn't sound like decrepit or anything. I mean, he sounded like he was in like his maybe 60s.
call his
or
bluff.
something.
Say, yeah, all right,
Well,
we'll
here-
take it
Come
to
and
court.
get me, old man.
Yeah,
That's the
take it, sue us, old man. If you got big pockets, if you
Right.
want to, let's do it. Let's run the numbers.
You're talking about a school though. They're already underfunded, so they're not going to get in a legal battle. over a T-shirt.
I don't think this guy's going to do anything.
And
I don't
also,
think
once
he
it's
is either.
sold, once that logo is sold to the school, it's not his ownership anymore, right?
I see. That's the thing.
depends.
It's work for hire. They hired him,
Right.
so it's going to depend. If he had a contract that stipulated he kept it, then maybe. But I don't think he did.
He didn't
back
keep
then.
all that
There's
to
no
back it
way.
up.
And all these schools,
That's
like
clip art mountains or something.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
I've
come
seen
on.
like
horse.
these schools when they do a lot of there's a lot of the logos or whatever. So a lot of it's just like, hey, this student's dad does graphic art and came up with the
Yeah.
stallion that we're gonna use it, and then they just use it. And
Yeah, it was-
they're not worried about like copyrights and all that stuff.
Did the school completely vet his story too to make sure he's
I
just
don't
not
think
an
they.
opportunist?
I don't think they did. Well, I mean,
Because like a lot of people could hear this story and be like, "I originally wrote that."
well,
you know,
he's had a print shop there for like 45 years.
Oh, okay.
So there's only so many print shops in this small town.
Sure.
And
What a
Dude, Villain,
like, he-
you know who does this? Villain
Yeah.
did this for
Satellite
Satellite
Beach.
Beach schools,
Yeah.
where he came up because he's got graphic artists. So he came up with their
Yeah.
logo and
He's
stuff.
like, "I'll make
So,
you guys a cool
I mean,
logo."
It would be like Mark Villain coming back, like if Satellite Beach ever did like a version of Stranger Things, and like it's
or
like
just any
Satellite-
popular show.
Yeah, and then use his logo, and then Mark's like, I'm cease and desist. I want a piece of it.
I mean, it sounds like a poorly written, made-for-TV movie villain, where like the rich guy is just like, "Well, I want my piece of the
Yeah.
children's charity." Like
Yeah.
it's completely unbelievable and absurd that this is happening. But yeah, basically the school tried to. I called the guy to try to be like, "Listen, if you sell these shirts without giving a penny to the school, it's a perversion of the original design and intention of the shirt, which was a school charity to begin with."
Right.
And I said, I also think that, and he got super offended by this. I said, I think that if you sold these shirts and didn't give a penny to the school, that would be morally reprehensible. And he's like, "You calling me morally reprehensible?" I'm like, no, the act of selling these shirts without giving a penny to the kids is just, it's terrible. Like, I don't know how his idea was that, like, he's like, "Well, I'll print out a bunch of shirts and I'll sell them on my website, and then the school can pay me to print out shirts and they can sell them." And it's like, listen, dude, like, you're going to have a way better website than any school will have. You're going to get all the e-commerce sales. You guys are all fighting for the same
Wait, he was
pool.
saying, "I'll give him the same design and I'll do mine. And
Yeah,
we'll see
yeah.
who wins."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
This is like a moron.
You guys are all there's only a select amount of people who are purchasing this shirt, and I assume the original people got the majority of those. Like this, I think the school, but he's already printing them. And
No,
the-
yeah.
No,
He
nobody's
was
gonna buy it.
on that one.
he was running those t-shirt machines like full tilt when I was talking to him, but like
Well,
the
then now you got to say nobody buy these shirts at all.
that's
Right.
basically
Yeah.
the whole everyone in the community knows what's going on. I've never said who the guy is, but everyone already knows.
Yeah,
who
people
the guy
know.
is.
Small town,
It's
they
a small
know.
town.
Yeah.
They all know. So basically, what's happening now is I pledged $5 from every ticket that I'm selling for my show to go to the school, which is not quite as much as they were making per shirt, but it's close enough. And there's a local restaurant there who is gonna, like, they already invited me out to go to like a seafood boil the next day.
Oh,
No, like a
nice.
meet and
Oh,
greet.
my
Are you gonna
God.
dress
So
like
they're
a character?
they're gonna sell tickets to get like 70 people to come in there and give all of the proceeds to the school.
Oh, nice.
And so, are you a local celebrity in this town?
That's what they're calling it. Yeah,
I like this.
you have no idea how.
Are
many
you going to
people have-
relocate there and become the mayor? You
So
can have an
Aiken-
army of people working for you.
Yeah.
So many people have told me that
You're like a
that I
god.
should be the mayor, but I had one lady reach out to me. She's like, "I got a secret," and I was like, "Okay,
I'm
what's
gay.
the secret?"
I'm really gay. You don't know me. I've been hiding it inside for years. I'm gay.
She was like, "My husband works for the city, and I have it on good authority that they're going to present something to you at the show."
Oh, key to the city.
God.
I don't know.
City?
I don't know.
Hey,
Like,
Aiken,
Oh
South
my
Carolina.
God.
How big is Aiken, South Carolina?
I think Saddam Hussein got the key to L.A. one
I've heard
time. I think that's a
Aiken-
true story. Or New York City. It's something crazy.
Like I heard Aiken, Georgia, obviously, but this is South Aiken, South Carolina.
Aiken, South Carolina.
Oh,
So there's also South Aiken, which is
Ooh.
like a subset of it. It's kind of like I don't
Aiken.
I don't know.
Like
It's-
West Orlando or something.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
Like Soto.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you're the celebrity there
I think it's
because
cool,
of
yeah.
the
Dude,
shirt you wore. But
The amount of people that reached out to me, be like, "Please come by my bar." and just
Oh, you
like,
should.
do a show
You
or
should
just
just
show
get
Let me
up
ask you
there.
this.
Oh, man.
When
There's
you're
Invited
there's
me
a
to
fee
come to
for
the
that.
pool, like I mean, all sorts of
a
stuff.
local
Appearance fee.
celebrity.
Yeah.
Now,
Hey, bang my wife, Stranger Things, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll
happen.
Hey, man, my wife, she's a big fat pig. Why don't you, hey, bang my wife, you giant Stranger Things. You know what's real strange? My wife, she's disgusting. Bang her good.
so are you gonna dress like the character?
Yes.
Like,
Oh,
you have to-
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
Question.
Well, I don't know.
He's fun. You're not fun. He's fun.
They
would-
sent me one of the shirts. I mean, I feel like I have to, like, I'm doing this show. I feel like if I don't walk out and you know, like say in a hoodie,
You gotta do the
and
line.
just rip the hoodie
Oh, yeah,
open,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
wearing
yeah.
the shirt, like
Yeah.
they're gonna go nuts.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. But the thing is, like, I would be like, that's corny. I'm not gonna do it professional. I go and do my stand
like
up.
you're dressed in a suit. You're dressed like he's just like Eddie Murphy, delirious red leather and a little red leather kufi. It's very
Yeah, and then
problematic.
You gotta give them what they
Tom.
want. I'm
Tom's
horrible with
dressed
that.
like he's celebrating Kwanzaa in red leather top to bottom, red kufi on top.
You should
walk-
be his character for Halloween this year.
Oh yeah.
Can't grow a beard or hair.
Someone,
You look like the kid with no teeth. from
Yeah, you'll have to get
Stranger
a fake beard
Things. You look like that kid.
and a wig.
You have to be
You
the
look
fat
like
kid.
Judah Freelander. That kid. Wait, that's not him.
yeah, someone cosplayed me already, which is crazy.
That's cool.
But a girl with big teeth.
yeah,
I like sexy.
The
I wanna see
version, sexy angry towns
Okay,
person.
if you're a listener of our program and you send
Yes.
us angry townsperson tees, like the girl version, Sam, you can even win this.
Okay.
If you first person to send that to us, I will send you the new Tom and Dan South Aiken High School shirt.
So, what
Charity
happened?
only.
Let's do
with
a
the
South fake.
the angry nerd.
right? And let's sell them.
The angry nerd in Altamont.
The angry nerd in Altamont. I went to go see Bullet Train yesterday with a buddy of mine, and when I was walking out, I'm of course wearing a Stranger Things shirt. There was another guy walking towards the theaters. He had just left like the concession stand. He's holding a big tub of popcorn, like soda and whatnot.
Oh.
He's wearing a Hellfire shirt. I'm like, dude, cool shirt. And he's like, cool shirt for you too, man. I was like, have you seen the fourth
We should
season?
rub our shirts together. Ooh, this is good.
I asked him if he's seen the fourth season, and he's like, well, I own all the Funko Pops, if that answers your question, as if I'm like challenging his nerddom.
Because yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
This
are you
is Norm.
we're stepping up?
Oh, you got to work in that you're in the show. I know this mentality. That's why I
live this mentality.
Like everywhere I go around, I'm like,
You listen to the radio?
and, like, have you ever been to a monster truck show?
Yeah, everywhere he
Oh
goes.
my
Also, when he's
God.
walking, he's like, he has a sticker on the back of his calves that says, "I'd rather be one wheeling." Ask me about my one wheel. I'm currently walking.
I tell the guy, I'm a little taken aback, like that was aggressive. But then I was like, I'm in season 4. I'm in episode 6 and episode 9. I was the guy that started the mob and walked my dog past the murder house, like you do. Who doesn't walk their dog?
That's what you do.
Like my dog pees on Vecna's mailbox. Like that's just what happens.
You do that. You walk your boys around your neighborhood and walk past a murder house.
Yeah, but it's like, how are you not scared? This is a spooky ass
It is
street.
spooky.
No one
So-
should be walking their dog here. But he looked at me and just goes, and then walks into the bathroom. Like, I don't know if he didn't believe me or he just got awkward and was like, I don't want to
he
have
may
this
have
conversation.
believed
I
you.
bet
You-
he was embarrassed that he didn't recognize
Yeah,
you because
and
he's such a nerd.
He
right?
may have gone in there and looked in the mirror and been like,
Mother said you were nothing. Mother said you would never amount to anything,
But-
and that's why you have to kill them. You have to kill them all.
I'm with you. That's a ridiculous response. You were like, oh wow, like why wouldn't you? Would you be like, oh,
people,
what's wrong with people?
But again, it goes back to
Mental
the beginning of
illness.
it goes back
Like
to the
they're a
beginning of
fan.
the
They're
interview.
like,
Beginning of the interview, he talked about how people like sometimes you'll say things where you are being like totally genuine and kind to and they think you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, like
being
he
a-
could still have thought I'm trying to one up him. Like, oh, you got the Funko Pops? Well, I'm in it. Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
I don't
that
know
could be.
what.
Yeah.
And I was
It
with
became
a
a
friend.
nerd fight.
I was with a friend and I was like, was it just me or that guy was real aggressive? He's like, no, it was super aggressive. He's like, there's a stereotype for the angry nerd for a reason. I was like, what was that guy's problem? Like, he was like,
Oh, man.
Like I thought we were bonding over like we both like Stranger Things. And he's like, no, I am the bigger nerd.
You
Like,
should see the emails. Some of the emails I get about my level of Marvel hate.
yeah.
because I don't like the Marvel movies. But it's really not as far as like I'll say things and then people take it like
exaggerate.
Yeah, of course I'm.
Do you like
pumping
the
it
Marvel
up.
TV shows?
I don't like anything Marvel. I'm just
you're
not. I
not
like
gonna-
comics. I like Marvel comics. I love the characters. I just don't watch any of the movies. But some of the emails I get are like, "If I ever see you, I swear." I'm like,
I almost
Jesus.
broke another
we don't
NDA.
we don't
Relax.
talk about the
Just relax.
overly aggressive angry nerds that much. You know,
There
because
are a lot of
we
them.
talk about the nerds and how like some of the meek they are and how like nerdy they, but like there are
Yeah.
angry, aggressive
Incels.
nerds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah. And no offense, but Ross McCool.
I'm not part of this conversation.
He's not a
I think he would admit that he's an angry nerd.
jovial, like Adam Murray type.
Jovial nerd.
He's more aggressive, and he'll get mad.
Like I
at
He
saw-
you.
has a confrontation of the week
You may have seen
That's
this.
all he does is confrontation.
I saw a nerd.
in Birdwatch.
I saw a
The
nerd,
nerd,
on Reddit.
angry.
I saw a nerd on Reddit, and he's standing there, and they're bullying him good about something. I think it was because somebody told him they didn't like Star Wars or something. And he stood up, and he like, it's on Reddit right now. You can search the video, and he's like frothing, and he's like,
Say it to my face. Say it to my
He's
face.
gonna get violent. They'll get
It's
violent.
just
They're
like, whoa,
violent
just
nerds.
Relax,
Yeah.
man. God damn.
Yeah.
This is not the great frontier I thought it was going to be, buddy.
Just
Calm
chill
down.
out, man. Good
But
lord.
the stereotype has always been the nerd who's always bullied and he's never gonna fight back. But there's the nerds that I
Yeah,
think
but then
are.
they get to their breaking point.
Well, there's that, but I'm saying there are nerds I think are bullies.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
bully them if you don't.
They'll definitely bully each other too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
that's
kind of
a-
like what he was doing to you.
yeah.
Or what he
That's-
thought he was doing. You didn't even have a dog in the fight. You were
No.
just like,
Hey, did something fun trying to share.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
and I was like, you know, like
because
I-
you out nerded him because
I
you're
will-
on the show. Like, so
Yeah.
he can
You
never
can't-
be
can't
that
top
cool.
that.
You,
Yeah.
you naturally out nerded him, which I don't think there's anything nerds hate more than when. And plus, you weren't even in the fight, and I think he did realize that at some point.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know why this guy's so mad. I was just basically like I wear the shirts and I don't just walk around telling everyone I'm in Stranger Things. I'm in Stranger Things. You know, it's like if
yeah.
they come up and compliment me on the shirt or something.
Yeah.
I'll ask if they've seen the show because I don't want to ruin it for them. Then be like, show them a picture. Like,
I like that you lean in with it too. I like that you're like people ask me if I'm going to continue wearing Stranger Things shirts, and he's like, yes, and I bought 10 more of them.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Like, I was a fan of the show since season 1.
Yeah, you've been
Like-
trying to be on the show since season
Yeah,
2,
well,
right?
yeah.
Adam, just move to South Aiken,
Become the god. Yeah.
South Carolina.
Change your name
and
to
be-
Aiken.
and you literally
Aiken Murray.
only
Aiken Murray.
wear that the
Start
wardrobe.
selling wigs
Get
of your
the same-
hair.
Start selling wigs.
Buy the
Yeah.
same- become the mayor. I mean, this is what
Yeah.
Jesse Ventura did. Right?
Yes.
Like this is what Arnold did in
Yeah.
California. Like you could get into
God.
politics.
Next
They'll
time
they'll
the
vote for
mayor-
you just because they're like Stranger Things. They're
The
like
mayor
idiots.
is coming to my show. They
Oh,
they
they-
bought out the whole balcony to have the mayor and his friends sit at my show.
Oh, you know what? You better watch the mayor. They have small town mayors, the tendency when things pop up, he's going to go get too drunk.
I mean,
He's gonna do a photo op with you.
Yeah.
I feel like public officials haven't had a good run in balcony of theaters. Like Lincoln would have a thing to say about it.
Oh, my God.
So now I know you could never mention it because the NDA, but I mean, why even ask you because you can't mention about the next season of Stranger Things. Obviously,
Or is there
going to be a
anything that
final
you can
season.
talk about that
Anything upcoming that you
Yeah.
can talk
Yeah, yeah.
about?
I mean, I think.
I mean, I'm looking at your IMDb. There's a couple things listed that haven't come out yet.
okay, what's on there?
Novel Love. which
Novel
a
Love is
movie.
like it's gonna be like a made for TV movie. That's one of the things
Right.
that I've got coming out that I don't think anyone's gonna see.
And then Florida Man, which
Florida
is a series.
Man is a series that is being produced by Jason Bateman. It's gonna be on Netflix.
Cool.
What is it about?
They're basically doing like Florida Man. So it's like all
Wait,
these.
you
like,
had a show called Florida Man.
I did a
This
show.
is perfect.
I did a show
For
for
Fringe. Yeah.
where I was the title character of Florida Man, and that was a blast. I got injured doing it, but I mean, other than that, it was a blast. The people I worked with the other actors were great.
So the Jason Bateman, is it like a drama?
It's kind of like a dramedy. So they're leaning into the whole Florida Man thing.
Like Shameless a little bit. That's kind of like a dramedy, I think.
So the part I play in that, it's called Samurai Clerk. They basically I it was originally supposed to be a liquor store, but it ended up being a gas station. And someone comes in to rob it, and I pull out a samurai sword to attack this dude. We have like a little scuffle.
Normally that's porn stars.
Because
Porn stars usually pull out samurai swords and kill them like so.
Oh, yeah.
they basically
Any
try to
trashy
take
people.
any sort of crazy Florida man story and bring it to life. And it's like a cop going around investigating all these Florida man things. From what I've been told, that's what.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, it
So I
says
just-
when an ex-cop returns to his home state of Florida to find a mobster's runaway girlfriend, what should have been a quick gig turns into a wild odyssey.
Yeah.
Oh, this sounds like, like there are elements of Righteous Gemstones that would be considered more serious.
I came
Yeah.
so close to booking 3 episodes of the Righteous
You
Gemstones.
look like a character in
Yeah.
Righteous Gemstones,
I-
dude.
I got
I'm gonna throw
pushed
that
to-
into the universe
I
because
got pushed to producers. They were checking my availability, and then I just didn't end up getting it. I would have worked on it like all of July, all of August, and like all of November.
you'd be
It-
perfect
it
for
would
the
have been-
wrestling gym.
It would have been like
One of the wrestlers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it would have been like a personally life-changing amount of money. Plus, it's a funny show.
It's really fun.
Like so
Yeah.
that I could have.
Is there
I mean,
anything like
so
when
That would have pushed my career real good.
Go ahead, because we're gonna run out of time, and I know you got a ton of questions.
Well, I mean, just to because I know you probably can't talk about it. It's a faux pas, but because we've been friends for a long time, like I'm curious to okay, you get this part in Stranger Things, like obviously bigger than you expected.
So
after
good,
what
in
the
fact,
lady
that
did.
they bolstered his part up.
What kind are we talking? The amount of money that you're good for 6 months? Are you good for a year? Like,
Well,
what?
Are you
do
just
get
wanna
residuals?
you want to get a
get
better idea?
a check
like,
in the mailbox?
You did that, so what? Can you coast for a while now?
yeah. How does that work?
Yeah. Well, basically, what I've learned from stand-up is keep my expenses real low,
Yeah.
and that way, what seems like an okay amount of money to some people is like, all right, I'm good for a few months on this, and so it's just been like 2021. I did almost every month. I shot something, and if I made a couple $1,000s on it, that was enough to coast me for like a month or two. So, and then sometimes I would do something that like the first day on Stranger Things, that 16-hour day was just under $4,000 for the one day. And then I came back to do the other day, and that, so all told, I got like $5,000 over the course of like 2 months just being on those 2 little episodes of Stranger Things. And so when
Well, it's not that much. I'm
when-
surprised.
That's
Not for sweating for 12 hours.
That is
When-
a surprisingly honest answer that I
when-
think everybody wanted to hear. Right?
when
Yeah, yeah.
when residuals come, it's going to be based on the amount of money you made from your appearances versus how much everyone else made, and then you get whatever that chunk is or percentage based on residuals. I don't know what it's going to be because you don't get it for like 6 or 8 months, but like on a network show, you get the money you made the first time again.
Oh,
So I
nice.
could get another 5,000 again when they send out the first residual check, and then it just slowly goes down.
Gotcha.
That's
interesting.
awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats, man.
But thank you for telling us because it's that I find that fascinating. Like
Yeah.
because most people have no clue. Like going back to like the amount of effort they put into every scene and the lighting and stuff. Like, we're all just watching it and not even realizing like that one scene you're in 16 hours.
Yeah.
Like 16 hours
crazy, dude.
is an absurd amount of time. Like, and even for that scene, everybody is taking pictures in multiple outfits, and then every single angle, and like,
Yeah, so
I didn't realize also how fluid it is. Where like that one lady was supposed to have like more lines, and they just took it for her and changed
I mean,
it.
every production is different.
Yeah.
But as far as the pay goes, like SAG has basically a set up pay scale. And I think for this, it was like scale plus 10% or something like that. And so you're paid for like, it's either the first 8 or 10 hours is that. And then the first 2 hours after that is time and a half. And then every hour after that is double time. So the fact that it was 16 hours, there was 2 hours of time and a half, and then like 4 or 6 hours of double time. So I basically got like, 2.5 or 3 days worth of pay for that one day.
Gotcha.
That's why it was like, it was like 3,500 or 3,800 or something for that one day.
Because the union, that's how they get
Yeah.
you.
But I mean, a lot of these
break every 15 minutes.
you also get paid for, like, when I went to do a COVID test, you get like $300 for that. Every time they test you on a day you're not working, you get paid $300. Then I got paid for doing hair and makeup tests, doing wardrobe. All of those things they pay you.
$300 for a COVID test.
Yeah.
Do people that don't believe in COVID know this? Do they know that you could get tested for it and get $300 and not even believe in it?
I got a buddy of mine who was on a show, and
That's too much. I feel like 100 everybody would have been fine with. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was weird they got the 300.
I'm glad you're getting 300.
I mean, there was
awesome.
one. So I've got a show that's getting ready to come out in the next couple of weeks, and I got COVID in January, right? And I found out like the day after that they're like, it was like the day after I tested. It took me like 5 days or 6 days to get a test because it was right after New Year's, and so all the tests were used.
Oh,
everyone,
yeah. We all had it at that same time too. Yeah.
So I actually got it from a friend who had it, and he gave me a big hug. He's like, I got COVID, by the way. And I'm like, why would you hug
That's
me?
not a friend. I'm sorry.
Oh my
So
God.
the day after I tested, I found out I booked this show, and it's a huge show. Like, you guys all know what. If I were to tell you, like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be coming out, like my agent called me and he's like, you booked the show, and I was like, I tested positive for COVID yesterday, and he's like, they're gonna want you to test tomorrow. I can tell them you're worried about testing positive, and they'll go with someone else, or you can just go down there and test. He's like, I had COVID, this new round of COVID, and he's like, I tested negative 6 days after, and I was like, let's do it. So like, I cleaned out my nostrils the night before with like peroxide to try to kill any
Yeah,
of the
Hell
germs.
yeah.
You do anything. It's like trying to do a
Yeah.
weed test.
Well, 'cause I
right?
did-
I the light. I saw. I heard him.
I didn't
Shine
want
the light up
anything.
your nose.
What I didn't want is like anything stuck in my nose hairs or whatever even though I was
You got that
fine,
residual COVID on your nose.
but
hair.
I
You
figured
gotta-
if I'm still producing it, it's gonna be in my nose by the time I go
and
test.
you need to book this gig. You know,
Yeah.
It's a huge show.
Yeah.
Like it's. I mean, I don't think anything is quite as big as Stranger Things, but it's up there.
really.
Yeah. And it's coming out.
A
Is it
little show
network?
by the name of Ridiculousness.
Yes.
Is it
So-
network or is it
You're gonna
streaming?
try and get him into trouble.
I know.
Sorry. All right.
I'll tell you when we're off there.
Okay.
So you won't be so curious about it. But
I'll tell you guys.
Is it on,
Right
is it
when he
on
leaves,
patrol?
Jesus.
I've been
Paw
watching.
Patrol.
It's back better than that. You
But-
can't say live PD.
Yeah,
anymore. On patrol.
I went there, and it was like a 90-minute or so drive to the opposite side of Atlanta from me, where this particular studio is, because all the studios do their own testing for the most part.
Okay.
Very few of them farm it out, so they have like medical staff testing people. You go
we have
through
medical staff here.
you go through like a drive-through, and someone swabs your nose, and then they text you later. Excuse me, if you pass or not.
God, he has COVID.
And I ended up, testing negative, and then I went the next day. They tested me again on set, and I assume I tested negative. Then they didn't tell me because we shot.
So you made it on the show.
I made it on the show. I'm with the
Oh, wait until they find out you had COVID.
yeah. I
Well, hey, if you tested negative, you tested negative.
I just missed like a super famous actor. We switched places at hair and makeup. So I'll tell you.
Okay.
So,
I'm
so
excited
this
to-
show is going to
yeah.
come out, and we're going to see it.
Yeah.
Everyone will see it.
Yeah,
Wow,
in the next couple
all right,
weeks.
all right. There you
It's one of those shows that like, not only does everyone watch this type of show, they have been waiting for this one to come out.
All right. Well, Adam, congratulations.
Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah.
Yes,
We're
man.
we're so excited
deserve
for you,
it.
bro.
All those years of Ross bullying you, I knew. I knew. that-
You opened the nuts.
yeah, exactly. He's a bully and crazy. I'm like, this guy's going somewhere. I knew it, Adam.
Oh, the chat room is asking if you have your watch on. He does indeed.
Yeah. I'm wearing my Tudor Black Bay GMT.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It looks even better in person. I got to hold it. It's a great looking watch.
It's almost so. I bought it, and for watch nerds out there, watch nerds will appreciate this. I bought it February 11th, and since that time, let me see, it has lost about 54 seconds, which is crazy.
So it's gone back and now it's telling time off by 54 seconds.
Are you not a fan of mechanical watches? You not understand? So
I mean,
like
Do you not understand
a
science?
super, so a
you got the
super-
gears. I don't know.
That's like 180 days ago that I bought it. A really, really accurate, because it's just gears and springs and stuff. So a super accurate mechanical watch will gain or lose like 1 or 2 seconds a day. Like a Rolex is supposed to be plus or minus 2 seconds a day or less.
Okay.
Which is like what they consider peak. Some of them are better. When I first got this, it was losing about a second a week, which is crazy. And I don't know if it's been, I've taken it to the range. I've played pool with it. I wear it on my braking hand. So it's getting the shock of like breaking up a set of pool balls. And it just, I don't know. It's sometimes it's gotten a little slower and then it's sped up. But I mean, the fact that it hasn't lost a minute in over 6 months is bananas.
Oh, that's good.
It's crazy.
Oh, I
It's
thought you were
crazy.
complaining
No,
how
it's
horrible
good.
that
No,
was.
no, no.
Okay, that's a good
No,
outfit.
No.
That's good.
Like if you're losing,
That's
if
all
you're losing
I
a
know.
second a day, it'll lose a minute in 2 months.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's been 6 and it hasn't lost a full minute yet is crazy.
Yeah.
The chat room's just hammering you.
Is it me or Adam? Holy Adam, he's a nice guy. I'm all idiot.
They're like, he doesn't know about watches.
But it matters to Adam.
This
It'll make
will
him
be
fat.
impossible to explain to Tom.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, people are saying you lose a second
That was
a week.
That was the whole
Well,
like.
with the way you said it, I thought that was bad. I was like, oh, that piece
No,
of
no.
ass watching.
that was I've people who haven't grown up around watches or don't appreciate watches don't understand, because quartz watches keep perfect time.
Yeah, they do.
That was the whole issue with the quartz crisis. Is it almost put like
Quartz crisis.
Yeah,
that's what
it
they
kinda
called
killed
it.
the automatics.
It almost killed all the automatics. So like Patek Philippe and AP and Rolex and all that, they all started making quartz. There are quartz Rolex watches out there. I don't know if AP did. I think they did, but Patek apparently did like super crazy, ridiculous quartz movements. But
Watch nerds are like now he's gonna end up getting attacked by watch nerds.
Yeah, they're gonna be
nerds.
like,
yeah.
Get him. He's
Patek
got
never made a quartz.
Yeah,
What is this guy
exactly.
talking?
Now, be careful going to the movies with your friends. Next thing you know, you have some guy throwing watches at you.
I think Patek did. I could be wrong. I know Rolex did.
Yeah,
they're
Rolex
called,
did.
They're called oyster quartz, and they look like an AP. They're real weird looking. They're angular and stuff, but
So, Adam, how can people find you on social media and all that?
at Adam Murray Live on pretty much everything. I
his
also
YouTube
yeah,
channel.
I got a YouTube channel.
on
Got a
Cameo.
Yeah, they got me on Cameo now.
How's that
Like,
work?
Cool.
So basically, they have to decide that you're famous enough or worthy enough to be on there, and then people pay like $20 to have you say
No,
something.
yeah. We tried to get on there.
Yeah, they didn't say. They said we weren't famous enough.
That's crazy.
Although Heather Shaw's on there, that makes sense.
Who?
Yeah, I don't know. Did she
I'm
move
joking.
away?
She
Yeah,
did,
no, but
yeah.
I'm just saying
Like,
she's on
actually-
Cameo. You can get a cameo from her, but like you can't get a cameo from us.
She's pretty
That's
big
crazy.
on TikTok.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, but
she
hey,
blew
They must
up.
have
I'm
just
just
showed
saying.
the TikTok numbers.
yeah, they're
I
like,
know.
how many does she have? 100 million?
That was basically like the I've had a bunch of people saying I should have a blue check mark on Instagram and stuff like that, and I think that's what is holding me back, is that they're like, he's only got like 2,500 people on here. Like, is he really? I mean, but like I've got all these news articles they've written about me and
No,
stuff.
don't matter.
They don't care.
News?
Yeah. News is-
I've like every time.
That's your news.
Every
Oh,
time the
sorry.
news covers me, they're like, dude, you should get, this is how you get a blue check mark. And I'm like, Instagram does not care. I don't have a million next to
And
my
I got
name.
the old blue check. I got a blue check mark on Twitter, which people are like,
faded,
well, that
yeah.
just means you're old. And I'm like, all right.
All right, we got to go because we ran out of time. Adam, thanks so much for coming
Yeah,
in.
dude,
Thanks
thank
for
you
the
so
time.
much for
After the new show debuts, we got to get you back in here.
Come back
to
Yeah.
talk about it.
and we'll
I'd be
just
happy.
have you hang out then. You don't have to do the.
I've got 3 big shows coming out between now and the end of September, and a movie that'll be in theaters with Javier Bardem in October.
You're gonna have a big
Awesome.
August. Big August.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.
We got to take a break or get out of here, right?
We're out.
All right. Bye bye.